The welcome flow is the most important flow for the majority of e-com brands. It could literally make or break your email SMS marketing. It's not only the main entry gate of most of your subscribers, it'll also be the first introduction people will have with your brand. If done right, it could generate 10 to 20% of your total revenue. And not only that, it'll also fuel the rest of your email SMS program. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up the ultimate welcome flow for your e-com brand. If you get this right, everything else will fall into place. So let's get into it. Who am I? My name is Hussam and I've been in digital marketing for 15 years and in e-com for over a decade. I've generated well over 8 figures in extra revenue for our e-com clients. I've also spent millions of dollars in paid media. I've also had my own e-com brands in the past as well, one which I was able to scale from 0 all the way to 7 figures in less than 16 months with a very, very minimal budget. I'm also the founder of Power My Marketing, which is an email and SMS marketing agency. And we like to work with ambitious e-com brands and help them scale faster using email SMS. So our clients typically generate between 35 to 50% of their total revenue from email SMS. You can see in this first example here, 50.71% is coming through Klaviyo. The second example, 40.77. Third example, 31.68. And this is not even counting SMS because they are using Attentive for SMS. So counting SMS, this is going to be over 40% attribution. And in the last example, 36.55%. And you will notice here that the email revenue, for example, is outpacing the total revenue, which means that the email program is being more effective in converting people. You see that over the last 30 days, we were able to increase their revenue by 889%. So what's a welcome flow? And this is typically the flow that someone gets when they subscribe to your newsletter, opt in to receive maybe a gift or a coupon, or maybe submit a quiz or something like that. And this is generally the biggest revenue maker for your e-com brand. It's also the biggest entry gate of your email SMS program because most of the users will come through this flow first. So you will get most of the emails and the phone numbers from the pop-up, which will lead to the welcome flow. So why focus on the welcome flow? Why is it so important? You can see here in this particular example, the brand is generating has generated 580K and 62,000 plus came from the welcome flow. And this is not even counting the welcome flow revenue in November and December during Q4, because during that time we typically have custom welcome flows. And so we can match basically the offers we are running for Black Friday to the offer we are getting from the welcome flow, so people don't get confused. So that's not even counting that. This is just for the regular welcome flow, and you will see that we are generating more than 10% of their total revenue just from the welcome flow. So as I mentioned before, 10 to 20% of your total revenue, and it's completely automated. You don't have to touch it. Obviously, with our clients, we always like to come back, optimize it, and A/B test it, but you don't have to do that if you don't have a lot of resources or you're short on time. And then the third benefit is that it's perfect for turning website visitors into first-time customers. And this is especially important if you're running ads. If you're spending, let's say, money on Meta and you're sending valuable traffic to your website, it's very important to try to convert as much of that traffic as possible into first-time customers. And you will see here the impact of the welcome flow. So in the first, let's say, example, it's an e-com brand without a welcome flow. So they are sending traffic to the website, let's say using Meta ads, and obviously they are spending money on this. Only about 3% of that traffic is going to convert into a customer. This is the standard e-com conversion rate. Obviously, I've seen brands with less, and also I've seen brands with more, like 4 to 5%, but let's just say 3%. So what happens to the 97% of the rest of the traffic? So a lot of it is just going to leave and maybe never come back again. They might check your competitors or maybe completely forget about you. Some of them, yeah, it's true that some of them might come back, but the majority of them are going to leave. And let's say that you have a return or advertising spend or ROAS of 2.5x on Meta. So this is without using a welcome flow. Okay. Now let's jump into the example with if you are using welcome flow. So you're sending the same traffic, you're spending money to acquire that traffic on Meta, let's say. But instead of just directly converting 3% and then the rest are going to leave, we'll be able to capture 10 to 15% into leads. So this is how we have that pop-up with an incentive to try to capture that traffic into subscribers so we can nurture them. And generally speaking, we are able to capture 10 to 15%, which is a huge jump from 3%. And this is not customers, obviously, it's just leads. They haven't bought yet. So 10 to 15% and sometimes even more than that. So we are able to capture capture the information of more people and nurture them with your welcome flow sequence. And but typically the 3% who were about to buy anyway, they're going to buy from your welcome flow. But then the reason the welcome flow is very important is that it's able to convert a lot of those on the fence people who are not sure yet. So they opt in and they go through our nurture sequence. We talk about our mission, our vision, our unique selling proposition. We talk about maybe highlight a lot of social proof in terms of reviews, highlight the pain points our products are able to solve. This is obviously if you're selling a product that solves the pain points, not like maybe in fashion or something like that. And throughout the welcome flow, when they go through it, you will be able to increase the return on advertising spend from 2.5x to 3x. And this is just the hypothetical, okay? And you are able to convert more of that valuable traffic that you are spending money acquiring into first-time customers. So this will technically increase your conversion rate, and it will also increase your average order value if you have some bundles. Sometimes we like to use some bundles to try to raise the average order value. And the reason this is very important is that you are able to be more competitive with ads. So let's say that you are able to spend $30 to break even to acquire a customer on Meta. Now, because you are converting more people and you are increasing the average order value, and eventually you're going to increase the customer lifetime value as well. So you have more budget to play with. You can actually afford to spend more at the top of the funnel to acquire customers. And I believe that the brands that can afford to spend the most to acquire customers are going to be the most competitive in the industry. So if you can afford to spend $50 to acquire a customer because you're going to be profitable, with the customer lifetime value, and your competitor can only spend $30, there is no way they can compete with you. Okay, so the perfect welcome flow. The objective of the welcome flow is to get people to place their first order. Generally speaking, people can only go through the welcome flow once. But the objective is to get them to place the first order. And the way to think about this is that what could you highlight in that welcome flow to overcome people's objections so they can go through that initial hurdle and place an order so they can try your product. So this is the logic. And obviously it differs from a brand to brand, but generally speaking, it follows these guidelines or this formula. So the first email, we typically send it immediately, and it's going to be an email where we give people what we promised them in the pop-up. Again, for most e-commerce brands, this is typically an incentive like a coupon or a free gift, and it works, generally speaking, the best. But but some brands, for example, they don't like to offer discounts on their products, and you can actually use something else. Like you can use, maybe if you're in the food industry, you can have like a recipe book that people can download for free. Or you can have like a free guide or maybe a free video guide of how to use a product or how to improve something, or if you're selling, for example, mattresses or something that helps people with sleep, or maybe you're selling supplements. So you can basically give people a downloadable guide or something like that. So this is the first email. And if you are given a discount, keep it front and center, literally at the beginning, to get people to claim it immediately. You can have, for example, the coupon, and you can use a little bit of urgency. So on Klaviyo, there is a possibility to use dynamic coupon codes that actually expire. So we can use scarcity or urgency in this case. So we can use, for example, or you can say something like, hey, this is going to expire in 72 hours, something like that, just to get people to, to place their order fast. Then the second day, and typically we send this one day after. So we highlight the story of the brand and how it started, the mission, the vision, just to get people to connect with your brand. Sometimes we like to leave this email for post-purchase, but sometimes we use it for the welcome flow as well. And this, what it will do, it will increase people's affinity with your brand, because when they connect maybe with the founder story or how the brand came to life, this is very, very important. So the more they connect with your brand, the more they like your brand, the more they are likely to place an order with you. So you can also highlight that people can still use the coupon code. So at the bottom, we again highlight that, hey, basically your coupon is expiring, make sure to use it before it expires, just as a reminder. And then we have the third email, which is one day after that previous email. We highlight the unique selling propositions and how we differ from the competitors. So this email is very, very important because we explain us versus them. So if your product or your brand is trying to solve, or it's solving a huge problem within the industry, or maybe it has like a way to stand out against your competitors, this is very, very important to have this table where you compare your products or your brand against your competitors or your industry. And we like to do this in a visual aspect, so we don't write a lot of text, because people have very short attention spans and nobody's going to spend like the time to read like across multiple paragraphs. So we like to highlight this in a visual aspect. So let's say if you are selling maybe supplements or like a hydration, drink or something like that, then you can have the unique selling propositions of your brand. Let's say your hydration drink has no sweeteners, or something like that. Maybe it costs less, maybe $1 per hydration drink, versus the competitors or the industry where it has 12 grams of sugar or something like that. So this is very, very important. And so what I mentioned here is that people might still, this is for people because they have not placed their first order with you yet. They might be still doing research and they are not sure which brand is better. Maybe they are checking some of your competitors and they're considering you, but they're not committed to placing an order with you. And this might set you a little bit apart when you highlight that, okay, our products are premium, they are better than everyone else in this industry. They are more likely to place an order with you instead of your competitors. So this will get them through that initial hurdle. So the fourth email, which we typically send another day after the previous one, we like to highlight social proof. And we use some sort of social proof in about 80% of the emails we send, because it's very, very powerful. And when people like new subscribers who haven't placed an order with you yet, they can see that your products have actually helped other people overcome the same issues or maybe solve the same pain points, they are more likely to place an order. Okay. And in this email, we like to highlight the customer reviews, maybe number of orders. If we have, let's say, we went live with the ecom brand since 2000 maybe, or 2020. And then people have placed maybe 50,000 orders with us or something like that. So any number that's considered a social proof, that it validates the claim that, people, if a lot of people are buying these products, then most likely it's a good product. Or maybe magazine features, like any interesting magazines that people would trust that you have been featured on, maybe any endorsements from some influencers that people trust, or maybe some authority figures in your industry. And this will basically ease people's anxiety and help them see that your products have already worked for other people, and they most likely they will be working for them as well. And another thing you can do is you can still highlight that people can use their coupon code at the bottom of the email. So we like to, in the first email, we like to highlight the offer front and center. But then when I see a lot of brands, what I see a lot of brands do is they keep hammering like the offer with multiple emails. And there is no reason to do that, because people are just going to be annoyed. And what's better is to, the first email, you highlight the main offer. And then with the other emails, it's mostly content, 80 to 90%. Try to nurture people, try to connect with them, build affinity with them. And then we can still hint or maybe remind people about the offer so they don't forget about it. Okay. Then you have the first email, which is we like to send 2 days after the previous one, email number 4. And here we like to highlight the quality of your products, or maybe a guarantee. If you have a really good warranty or guarantee, then this would be a perfect email for it. This will also educate people about your product and also ease their anxiety, because the more they understand about your product, the more they are likely to place an order with you. Email 6, again, 2 days after the previous one. We like to highlight our best-selling products because especially if you have a big catalog and people are not sure which product to place an order for, then we like to highlight the best sellers. And this basically will make it easier for them to choose. If you have a lot of product and they are having analysis paralysis and they don't know which one to order, you can highlight the best sellers, and you can highlight the unique selling propositions of each of those best sellers, and maybe one review for each of those best sellers, just to make it easier for people to make a decision. And also, if these products are bestsellers and popular, it means that people like them, so they are more likely to convert new people as well. Email number 7, we like to send it 2 days after the previous one. And this typically is the urgency around their coupon. We like to say, so we sent, let's say, email 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They are mostly 90% content or trying to build affinity with the user. And then we are hinting to the, coupon expiration at the bottom. But then email 7, we like to put it front and center again, so people can place an order. We say, hey, by the way, your coupon expires in 48 hours. If you have used a dynamic coupon before that actually expires, you can say expires tonight or maybe final hours or something like that. And the urgency converts incredibly well. So when you say, hey, it's going to expire and they might not be able to use it after that, people are more likely to place an order. Then email number 8, what we like to do maybe 3 or 5 days after is we like to present people with a different offer, because it doesn't make any sense what I see people do, like send multiple emails hammering the same offer over and over again and expecting different results. So if that offer, if you gave 10% off and it hasn't converted them, then there is no point of, to keep hammering that. So it's good to maybe present them with a different offer. So let's say if we offer 10% off in the initial offer, maybe now we do BOGO 20%. So technically it's less than 10%, but people would have to add multiple products. So they need to add at least 2 products to get to use that BOGO discount. It sounds psychologically higher because you're saying 20%, but technically you're going to be making more money. So this is a really cool offer that you can make. Or potentially you could do like a limit spend, for example, spend $100 and get this gift for free that is valued maybe $20 or $25, something like that. So just try to change the offer so to see if some people can claim it, because it might make sense for some people. For the welcome flow, generally we like to keep it between 7 to 12 emails. Again, it really depends on the brand. We had a welcome flow with a brand in the past that had over 30 emails that span across multiple, maybe a couple of months or even more. And yeah, I know that's a little bit excessive, but their brand required it. So it really depends on your brand. But generally speaking, I like to start with 7 emails, and then maybe you can continue to add more emails as you go. And also 2 to 3 SMS messages, and addressing basically a different angle. And yeah, the objective is to try to get the user closer and closer to the purchase experience. And in terms of SMS, we like to, because you're spending money for SMS, you need to spend 1 credit per SMS. We like to reserve them for the most important emails. So we don't just like to use them willy-nilly like that. We like to reserve them mostly for the promo, like where we are highlighting the coupon. So in this particular example, I would send 2 SMS messages along email number 1 and email number 8. So email number 1 when we actually gave the coupon code, and email number 8 which is alternative offer. We can add maybe another email where we are using urgency and saying it's going to expire in 48 hours. That also could work really well. Okay, so in terms of top things to consider, so the 80-20, I'm a big fan of leverage, and I like to always focus on the 20% of things that generate the majority or 80% of the results, just so we are always efficient. The first thing when it comes to the welcome flow is quality over quantity of emails, but both are better. If you can manage to do both quality and quantity, it's very, very good. So because when I noticed before, basically people, they either have like a ton of emails and none of them is converting, maybe the first 2 emails of the welcome flow and making money, and the rest of the emails are not converting anyone. So they are basically just annoying people, and that's not good. Or I see that people do not have enough emails. So maybe they have just a couple emails in the welcome flow. Yes, the first email or the first couple of emails might convert those people who were already ready to place an order, but it's not enough content or affinity building to get the other people who are still on the fence and to get them through the hurdle so they can place their first order. So quality and quantity. Again, as I mentioned before, you can start with 5, maybe to 10 or 12 emails and then increase from there. But just try to focus on quality and try to highlight one thing per email. So one thing, maybe it's one email is social proof, one email is unique selling propositions, etc. The second thing is focus most of the testing on the first emails in the sequence. Yeah, as I mentioned before, generally speaking, the first emails are going to have the highest revenue, and then the revenue is going to continue dipping after. So if you are going to do A/B testing, do not test like the whole flow. Again, this is if you're short on resources and you're short on time. So always try to test the first couple of emails. So let's say you want to test the alternative offer, just start with testing the first couple of emails, see if it works better compared to the previous offer, and then you can continue building the rest of the emails, okay? And then the third one is the highest to lowest leverage. So what I see also a lot of brands do is they focus on low leverage activities. So things basically that take a little bit of resources to create, but they don't move the needle at all. And it's always good to prioritize. So to know what's the thing that has the highest leverage, the thing that could result in the highest revenue impact, and then go down the list. And from our tests, the first one is the offer. So hands down, the offer is going to make the biggest impact for you. So if you would like to test things, so test the offer first. So instead, for example, as I mentioned before, of 10%, you can test BOGO 20, or maybe spend $100 and get this free gift or something like that. So that's the biggest thing to test. The second thing is the angle. And the angle is basically the hook, like which angle you want to approach your email with. So an angle could be an email that has, for example, a social proof, or maybe talked about an authority figure endorsing your product or something like this. So the angle that you'd like to use to sell your product. The third one is copy. If you can improve your copy, split test maybe subject lines, preview text, maybe the tagline at the top. This is very, very important. And the fourth one is going to be design. So all of these elements are important, but if you are short on time and resources, you can start with the offer first, and then split test angle, copy, and then design. Then the other thing is to split test often. And this is very, very important, especially when it comes to the welcome flow, because it's the highest revenue maker. So yeah, it's split testing prior, because it doesn't make sense to maybe continue split testing the site abandonment flow and leave the welcome flow. So try to A/B test or optimize, or at least test the highest impact flow first, and then go down list. And generally speaking, it's the welcome flow and the checkout abandonment. So these are the ones that we like to test or optimize the most. And the last one is experiment with different forms. So in terms of forms, I mean the opt-in forms. So sometimes we like to use a pop-up, sometimes we like to use a full screen. So feel free to experiment with different forms to see which one can convert the highest amount of your valuable traffic into subscribers that you can nurture and turn into first and eventually repeat customers. So the next thing I wanted to discuss is the failure to launch email sequence. And this is actually a syndrome, a medical syndrome that people after their teenagehood, they fail to launch into the world. Let's say they fail to become adults, they fail to find a job or something like that. And this is an actual flow that you can use. And it's meant to target people who have went through the welcome flow. So they opted in, they went through the welcome flow, but they still, for some reason, have not placed an order with you. So let's say after maybe 3 or 4 weeks, they still have not placed an order with you. And this is a very, very valuable segment, because these people have shown interest in your brand, in your products. They have raised their hands. They have literally given you their contact information, their email, SMS, but for some reason, they have not placed an order with you yet. So the way you think about it, hey, we tried everything to convert them. We gave them, discounts. We explained our mission, vision, benefits of our products, unique selling propositions. We showed them social proof that our products worked for other people, but still they haven't placed an order with us yet. So some brands, what they think is that, I guess, these people are just not interested because they went through all of those things and they still haven't placed an order. And my answer for those brands is that, but they have subscribed to your list. Like if they subscribe to your list, then it means they have interested. Nobody's going to go and spend the time to maybe go through your welcome flow or enter their email or phone number just because they are, they just wanted to do it for the fun of it. No, they did that because they are interested in your brand, and something might have maybe spooked them or maybe raised their anxiety. That's why they have not placed an order with you, and we need to figure out what that thing is. So, and this is the way we typically find out. So inside the welcome flow itself, we typically, after the last email, let's say we have 7 emails and we send them across maybe 10 days or something like that. We wait after that 10th day, we add another time delay of 10 to 15 days, and then we send them another email. And this email could be like a plain text email from the founder asking them for their feedback and why they haven't placed an order with you. And in this email, sincerity goes a long, long way. And you might ask, hey, Hussam, like, what's in it for them? Why would they spend, time out of their busy day to submit feedback for us? And most people are actually not going to do that. Some of them will, if you are sincere enough and You talk about the mission, the vision. If you can connect with them on an emotional level, then yes, they can spare like 30 seconds or 1 minute to submit feedback and tell you exactly why they have not placed an order with you. You know, they might say, hey, we found a better product from your competitor, etc. But the majority of people are not going to do that. And it would help a lot if you could offer an incentive, actually. This could be a bigger discount than what you gave them initially in your welcome flow. So this is what you can start with first. So let's say you did 10% off and it didn't work to convert them. And then you had, let's say you offered them in the 7th or 8th email, you offered them BOGO 20%, buy one, get one 20% off, and still it hasn't worked. Maybe this time you can increase the discount to 15 or 20%. You say, hey, we really, really value your feedback, and we will give you 20% off in exchange for filling this survey, or maybe replying to this email with your feedback why you haven't placed an order yet. And so what I like to do is start with an incentive ladder. So start with the lowest cost incentive for us first, and then go down the list. If you're still not getting, let's say, submissions or feedback, you can increase that incentive. So the second one could be free gift with purchase. Let's say if you place an order, we can send you this free gift, and choose a free gift that has a high perceived value. So people, it's one maybe of your best sellers or something like that people perceive it highly, but also has a low manufacturing cost for you. This is so it doesn't cost you a lot of money, so you don't lose out on a lot of margin when you, in order for you to get some feedback. And then if you're still not getting feedback, try offering them small gift cards from Amazon and Starbucks, for example. And this is the absolute last resort. I don't like to do this because you're basically making other companies richer. And yeah, but it's a very, very last resort, especially if you're at the beginning stages of your brand and you really need feedback, you need to, understand your ICP a little bit more, then this might be worth it for you. Another thing what we like to do is to enter people into a raffle. So we have a really, really good, let's say, offer. We say, hey, you could win, for example, a $200 gift card here, and you can win a product from this brand and a product from our brand. So try to package it like it's a very, very valuable gift. And then you can enter people into a raffle. We say, hey, submit your feedback and you will be entered into a raffle. We announce this, a winner for this giveaway, for example, once a month or something like that. So this is another alternative that you can use. And what you can do is you can check replies at least once a week and basically adjust the marketing messaging at the top of the funnel. So if they say, for example, hey, we weren't sure if your product can help us achieve this particular outcome, then basically you will go ahead and adjust the first emails in your welcome flow and even in your ads to account for that objection. So this is very, very valuable information that you can use in your marketing funnel to improve your conversion rate and basically reduce friction for people to place an order with you. And that's pretty much it. This is exactly how we set up the ultimate welcome flow for our clients. Again, if you were short on resources or time and you could only set up one thing, I would recommend to set up the pop-up so you can collect leads first and then the welcome flow. This is the absolute minimum you can have, and it could add 10 to 20% to your revenue. So if you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I also included a link in the description of a free 51-page masterclass on how you can generate 25% more revenue for your brand using email and SMS automations. This is everything I know about this subject. So I highlight 10 core flows that you can set up plus some additional flows, and I show you the exact emails that you need to set up for each of these flows plus some examples from brands that I like. And if you have an e-com brand and you would like to generate between 35 to 50% of your total revenue from email SMS, then I'm happy to offer you a free in-depth audit of your Klaviyo account, where I show you exactly what's missing in your account, what could be improved, and how much more revenue you'll be able to generate when all of the improvements are implemented. So this is basically 8 to 10 pages of expert recommendations specifically for your brand. So click the last link in the description and I'll talk to you then.